Hello and welcome back to the Lore Raider. It's that time of year again. Last year, Nando V Movies released the One Villainous Scene Challenge, where content creators discussed a villainous scene that stood out to them. I did a video on SAX, which I still stand by as one of my best videos I've ever made, and that was last year. This year, the challenge is the One Musical Scene, in which channels discuss a scene or many scenes that effectively utilize music or sound to convey some sort of meaning. Today, I want to discuss how Metroid Prime Hunters subtly but effectively told us why Samus Aran is the greatest of all hunters, and why Sylux was her greatest and most dangerous rival. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the plot of Metroid Prime Hunters in simple terms is that the greatest bounty hunters of the galaxy receive a message from the abandoned Tetra Galaxy telling them that ultimate power awaits them. All these hunters then flock their way to the Olympic cluster to find this power. A very simple plot indeed, but what interests us today is the fact that every hunter has their own reasons to be there, complex or simple. Kanden is the first bounty hunter Samus will encounter in the Celestial Archives. Kanden in Enioma was the result of the Enioma Living Weapons Project, an attempt to create the ultimate super soldier. However, his brain couldn't handle it and he destroyed the lab and escaped. His only motivation now is to accumulate power by any means necessary. He really is a generic power for power's sake berserker type character. And as far as Samus is concerned, he's no different from the myriad of mindless, brutish monsters she had to put down before. And this is translated well in his theme. It is, in a word, lackluster. Lacking any sort of complexity or excitement, it doesn't have very many high notes, it doesn't go anywhere. Just as Kanden's motives lack any complexity, the song lacks it as well. And as far as Samus is concerned, the greatest hunter of the era, his fight is not nearly exciting enough to leave much of an impression, much like this song. Now let's talk about this pirate bounty hunter known as Weevil, and the Kanden bounty hunter known as Trace. Both these hunters have a very specific and complex history, and reason to be searching for the ultimate power. Trace is a member of his species that has only just now come of age. His species, the Kanden, exile members at a certain age to find suitable planets for their empire to conquer. And so Trace hopes by finding the ultimate power, he'll be able to become a hero to his race. As you can hear, Trace's theme has an unsettling, insectoid almost, finish to it, very befitting of his role as a stealth sniper, if you ask me. Meanwhile, Weevil was a space pirate who had a run-in with Samus inside a Brinstar on Zebes that had left him for dead, and his only hope for survival was a cybernetic reconstruction. Whilst his motive for arriving are unclear, and not totally certain if he's going to keep the power for himself or give it to the space pirates, what is clear is that he wants revenge on the woman that left him for dead. Both of these hunters are not necessarily fully complex characters. One a young man who is trying to prove himself to his race, and the other an individual looking for revenge against the woman that destroyed most of his body. But these motivations put them ahead of the berserker that is Kanden, and their respective themes show this. Both of their themes add a little something that Candace didn't have. A little more complexity to the song, a little more intensity, and as their motives are more complex, it's fair to surmise that the music being more intense suggests the fights were more complex for Samus to deal with. Still, both songs lack a certain urgency. You don't get the feeling that Samus is being pushed here. Of course, the lack of intensity and complexity comes to an end when we encounter him. Sylux is a bit of a mysterious figure. We know that he despises the Galactic Federation, and by extension he hates Samus for working for them. And prior to the events of the game, Sylux has stolen all of the technology he uses from the Federation. Like his own theme song, which is by far and away the most complex of the hunters, his actions in the timeline are also extremely complex. He would later tail Samus' ship in the secret ending of Prime 3 for unknown reasons. And who would it be to steal the Metroid egg after the Federation Force acquired it? None other than Sylux, of course. Sylux has an end game, and Metroid Prime Hunters was just the start. But it isn't just his motives that matches the complexity of the music. No, it's the battle itself. Sylux is an intense and slippery bastard that even gives Samus a run for her money, hitting you with an almost hit-scan shock coil, constantly making tactical retreats in an effort to lure Samus toward his gunship, the Delano 7, which will actually fire on Samus, making the fight even harder, and making Sylux by far the most complex and nuanced combatant in the game, besides Guria. Finally, just when it looks like Samus will prevail against this threat, unlike every hunter in this game, Sylux denies Samus and the player the satisfaction of victory, as he retreats to his ship and escapes, marking the start of a great rivalry and a great mystery in the Metroid community. The beauty of music is that it can make the players feel without them really knowing it. Take another listen to Kanden's theme, for example. Does it not leave you wanting more? Does it really make you take him seriously as a threat? Metroid Prime Hunters is the only Metroid game that dares to take a baseline theme and as time goes forward, make it more complex with each subsequent hunter and gives you a different feel. Trace makes you feel like you're fighting a tricky sniper character. Kanden makes you feel nothing. And Sylux makes you feel like you're in an intense one-on-one duel. We've come a long way from the brutish Inyama, haven't we? And Metroid as a series has many catchy earworms, and other songs do great to set certain moves, but Metroid Prime Hunters is a very unique game in how it presents things. It takes the concept of show, don't tell to a whole different level, if you ask me. This score does wonders to display the relative power levels of the hunters, display the complexity of their motives, and most importantly, shows how little of a challenge most of the hunters pose to Samus, the greatest of all hunters, and why Sylux is perhaps, just maybe, the greatest rival in all of Metroid.